Yeah, this fits me.
Now, which color did you like better? This dark?
one.
You like the dark
Darker
blue?
blue.
Okay. Well, I think we've accomplished our mission.
What a great American moment. A child excited about a brand new piece of jewelry, and a mom who's confident that her child's jewelry is safe.
Most parents, when it comes to jewelry, pick out something that for their children that they believe they'd like. I don't think safety enters into it at all. And that could be unfortunate given the scare we had a few years ago.
Actually, children's jewelry is safer than ever now thanks to a recent standard that was established, addressing all known risks and hazards relating to children's jewelry. This historic standard is a result of a unique cooperative effort involving the Fashion Jewelry and Accessories Trade Association, the Consumer Product Safety Commission, that's the federal agency that oversees the safety of consumer products, along with consumer advocates, retailers, and laboratories working through ASTM International, the independent, world-renowned international standards group. Using critical scientific principles and the latest data, the ASTM committee developed the first ever comprehensive science-based standard for children's jewelry. It's designed to regulate metals and jewelry, including cadmium and lead, which have triggered media concerns in recent years. This new standard assures that children's jewelry is safe. While the cadmium issue has been controversial, the solution really shouldn't be, since the cadmium limits are based on the extensive testing and recommendations by the Consumer Product Safety Commission, which it urged both the toy and jewelry industry to adopt. Brent Cleveland is the executive director of the Fashion Jewelry and Accessories Trade Association. That's the organization representing over 200 producers, suppliers, and retailers of fashion jewelry. Cleveland chaired the diverse committee that developed this new, first-of-its-kind children's jewelry standard.
We heard the public's concerns, and we wanted to make a standard that was based on scientific principles that would assure the public that their jewelry purchases are safe. After this 2-year effort to complete this standard, we knew that we had served the needs of the consumer, the industry, and regulators.
The meeting of the Consumer Product Safety Commission will now come to order.
But why is this an issue now? Well, it's a good question. The effort to develop a children's jewelry standard really began very quickly about 2 years ago after media reports surfaced questioning the safety of cadmium in children's jewelry. Yet the jewelry industry, federal regulators, and technical experts working through ASTM International converted the media scare into an opportunity to re-examine the safety of metals. After all, they have children, relatives, and friends who love and wear children's jewelry as well.
We would not knowingly make product that our own families could not wear. It's just not something we would do.
Over a year later, when the Consumer Product Safety Commission and the jewelry industry's independent test results were in, there was remarkable agreement about approaches to assure cadmium safety. The CPSC concluded the potential exposure doesn't come from how much cadmium is in a piece of jewelry, the total content as they call it, but the amount that could be emitted if a piece were swallowed. That led to the first ever jewelry safety standard known as ASTM 2923-11, the new voluntary standard governing children's jewelry and enforced by the Consumer Product Safety Commission. This remarkable standard is comprehensive, screening for cadmium, lead, nickel, heavy metals and coatings, magnets, batteries, and liquid-filled jewelry. Inez Tenenbaum heads the Consumer Product Safety Commission. Recently, she saluted the jewelry industry for supporting the new voluntary rules, saying, quote, "Strong standards are the pathway to safer products, and children's jewelry and toys will be safer thanks to these efforts."
Unfortunately, there's a hitch. Several years ago, when the negative stories about cadmium surfaced, some states, quite frankly, panicked. Well-intentioned lawmakers, trying to look out for the public interest, hastily passed laws, some adopting the total content limits on cadmium in jewelry that the Consumer Product Safety Commission said could not be supported by its research.
Those laws were passed without the benefit of rigorous scientific, up-to-date information. So now the jewelry industry has to deal with a crazy patchwork of conflicting state regulations. Connecticut and Maryland passed laws that set one standard. Illinois and Minnesota laws set another standard. California and Washington State took other paths. All of these laws were passed before the Consumer Product Safety Commission and the jewelry industry's research on cadmium was completed. In 2012, the state of Rhode Island decided not to join this patchwork. The state's lawmakers and the governor have a good understanding of the jewelry industry. For nearly 2 centuries, this has been a center for jewelry manufacturing and distribution. Yet Rhode Island is also a family state with a national reputation for protecting children's health. The state's leaders took a more enlightened approach, choosing to go with limits that made sense. In a stunning show of unity in the Democrat-dominated legislature, Rhode Island's Democrats, Republicans, Independents, labor and business interests all worked together to pass the Comprehensive Children's Jewelry Safety Act. The legislation fully adopted the new ASTM standard that had the support of the Consumer Product Safety Commission. The vote to approve was virtually unanimous.
Have all senators indicated their vote? Will the clerk please lock the machine? 38 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and the act passes.
Clerk, please lock the machine. 68 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, the act prevails.
The victory was managed by 2 lawmakers from different parties. Senator Jim Sheehan, a Democrat, high school teacher, health and human services advocate, environmentalist, and father of 2 young children. And his counterpart, Representative Larry Earhart, a Republican, an environmentalist, small business advocate, retired business executive, and a grandfather.
Frankly, I've never seen a piece of legislation that met with such rapid acceptance. I mean, the first time people had it explained to them, they would just say it's a natural. Why haven't we done this before?
Well, I think of my children. First and foremost, I want to protect them from any harm. And if it's children's jewelry, it's something I want to make sure it's safe for all kids, not just for my kids. This was a very reasonable bill, and I think when you have something very reasonable, it's easy to find compromise.
Governor Lincoln Chafee, an independent and a father of 3 children, enthusiastically signed the bill into law.
And so this is an appropriate starting point for this public safety, child safety initiative, and I applaud the industry, and hopefully first of many states.
The new law is critical to Giovanni Feroci. He's the chief executive officer of the ever-expanding jewelry retailer Alex & Ani.
I believe that because of this law, you will see a greater opportunity for products to hit the marketplace. It, in fact, will be a very positive impact because ultimately it's a consumer products bill.
Swarovski is the world's leading producer of precision-cut crystal for fashion and jewelry. Arbitrary standards that some states have come up with cause serious economic hardships for companies like Swarovski and the smaller ones too.
It leads to potentially an increase in cost, because if we're investing in making sure we're compliant with hundreds of different legislative schemes across the world, that obviously cuts into the margin for the business, which has to, in some cases, be passed on to the consumer.
So what should the states do? Well, the states that have enacted flawed laws really should consider repealing them because they don't reflect current science. The states that haven't enacted laws really need to do nothing because we have a current standard in place that's being followed.
The bottom line is the ASTM children's jewelry standard is pro-consumer and pro-business. It sets a standard of excellence for the jewelry industry. But even better, as Brent Cleveland noted, the Consumer Product Safety Commission's recent report demonstrates that there is widespread compliance with this standard's requirements, and that the CPSC is enforcing the voluntary standard nationwide. Now that creates a level playing field while allowing companies to hire more people and offer a greater selection of safe, beautiful jewelry for parents and children all across the country and around the world.
There you go. What do you think, Missy?
I like them. Can I get them?
If you'd like more information on the new ASTM standard, contact the Fashion, Jewelry, and Accessories Trade Association at FJATA.org or call them at 401-667-0520.